Have you ever noticed how anger suddenly rises and just seconds later you start to regret it? In one moment you raise your voice, and in the very next you think, I shouldn't have said that. The truth is, your anger doesn't even want to stay longer than you do. It naturally fades away on its own. But we hold on to it. We keep it alive with our thoughts over and over again. Science tells us something fascinating. Whenever an emotion arises, whether it's anger, fear, shame, or sadness, your body releases certain chemicals. These chemicals increase your heart rate, bring heat to your face, and create tightness in your stomach. But they don't stay in your body forever. After a short time, their effect begins to fade naturally. So the problem isn't the emotion. The problem is the story you keep repeating in your mind. Imagine someone at work calls you out in front of others. In that moment, you feel a shock. A surge of heat rises in your body. But if you keep replaying that moment, how could they do that to me? Everyone must think I'm weak. My reputation is ruined. Then you're reactivating those same chemicals again and again. The emotion was already fading, but you called it back. And this is where your power lies. An emotion is like a wave. If instead of getting swept away by it, you simply observe it, you'll realize it isn't permanent. The next time anger arises, just pause. Notice the tightness in your chest. Feel the heat on your face. Take a deep breath and tell yourself, this is just a wave. It will pass. You'll see that within moments, the intensity begins to fade. We often say, what could I do? I was just too angry. But the truth is, emotion doesn't force you. It only suggests. The decision is yours. Emotion is a salesperson, not the boss. If you don't react immediately, you'll realize you have a choice. Now, understand something even deeper. Your mind is a prediction machine. It constantly creates expectations about how things should happen. And when reality doesn't match those expectations, disappointment is born. Most of the time, we don't suffer because of what happened. We suffer because of the expectations we created. For example, you believed you would get a promotion. You convinced yourself that you deserved it. And when it didn't happen, it wasn't just the missed opportunity that hurt. It was the collapse of the story you had built in your mind.
You told yourself, I'm not good enough. This always happens to me. And that's the very thought that breaks you. This is where the power of perspective comes in. The event stays the same, but its meaning can change. I didn't get the promotion. That's a fact. I'm worthless. That's your interpretation. If you can separate the fact from the story, half the pain disappears right there. Changing your perspective doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means seeing the situation with balance. This is a failure, but it's not my entire identity. I can learn from this. That kind of thinking gives you room to move forward. Your mind often works like a movie director. A small mistake happens, and suddenly it starts playing sad background music. Everything is over. But in reality, most people have already forgotten your mistake, while you're still replaying it in your head. That's why self-awareness is so important. When you become aware of your thoughts, you stop being controlled by them. You can challenge them. You can ask yourself, is this the whole truth, or just my fear speaking? Emotions are not your enemy. They are signals. They show you what's happening inside you. But if you treat them as absolute truth, they will mislead you. If you see them as messengers, they will make you wiser. Starting today, try a simple practice. Whenever a strong emotion arises, pause before reacting. Take 3 deep breaths. Notice what's happening in your body. Then ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? Just doing this can begin to change your life. Because real freedom doesn't come from changing external situations. Real freedom comes from choosing your response. And that is the skill that sets you apart from the crowd. Now, understand something even deeper. Emotions don't just come from the body, they're also shaped by your patterns of thinking. If your thoughts keep moving in a negative direction, your emotions will follow. This is where cognitive reframing comes in. Let's say someone criticizes you. Your first thought might be, "I'm not good enough." That's a natural reaction. But is it the full truth, or is it just a habit, your mind's tendency to take everything personally? When you catch that thought and give it a new meaning, your emotional direction changes. For example, instead of "they criticized me," you shift to "maybe there's something here I can learn from." The distance between those two thoughts seems small, but the impact is huge. The first thought weakens you. The second one strengthens you. The situation stays the same, but your power completely changes.
We often think emotions run on their own and that we can't do anything about them. But the truth is, thoughts and emotions move in a cycle. A thought creates an emotion, and that emotion then strengthens the same thought. If you interrupt this cycle in the middle, the entire pattern can break. Now notice something else: overthinking. You keep replaying the same event again and again, the same words, the same scene, the same regret. But does that bring a solution? No, it only drains you. Your mind feels like it's solving the problem, when in reality, it's just going in circles. When you realize you're stuck in the same thought loop, don't try to force yourself to stop thinking. The more you say, "don't think about it," the more stubborn your mind becomes. Instead, shift your attention. Look at 5 things in the room. Focus on your breathing. Move your body. Take a short walk. Give your mind a new signal that it's time to change direction. Remember, your mind is like water. It needs space to flow. If you don't guide it into a new direction, it will keep circling in the same old holes. Now let's break another illusion. You often feel like people are watching you, noticing every mistake you make. If there's a stain on your shirt, it feels like the whole world is focused on it. But what's the truth? Everyone is busy in their own mental world. Just like you exaggerate your own mistakes, others are caught up in their own flaws. Understanding this frees you from unnecessary shame and fear. People aren't paying as much attention to you as you think. Now try a small experiment. The next time you tell yourself, "I can't do this," change the sentence. Use your own name and say, "Raul can do this," or "Seema has overcome challenges before." It may feel strange, but it creates a sense of distance, like you're giving advice to a friend. We speak kindly to our friends, but harshly to ourselves. That gap needs to be closed. When you replace your inner critic with a guiding voice, your decision-making becomes stronger. Now, one more deeper truth. Just thinking positively isn't enough. If you only imagine that everything will go well, but never prepare for challenges, you'll break at the first obstacle. That's why preparation matters just as much as visualization. For example, if you want to start exercising daily, it's not enough to just think, "I'll get fit." Also think, what obstacles will come? Maybe laziness, maybe lack of time. Then decide in advance, if I feel lazy, I'll at least start with 10 minutes. That preparation is what keeps you consistent.
Now, understand another principle. Strength in life doesn't come from comfort. A little discomfort is necessary. Just like muscles grow stronger through exercise, the mind grows stronger through challenges. If you keep avoiding every discomfort, you'll become fragile. But if you face small difficulties regularly, your resilience increases. Taking a cold shower, having a difficult conversation, taking on a new responsibility, these are small practices that build mental strength. This isn't about punishing yourself, it's about preparing yourself. Life won't always go your way. Sometimes things will stay difficult for a long time. In those moments, hold on to 2 truths. First, this is hard, and accepting that is not weakness. Second, I will not give up until the end. This balance keeps you from breaking. And remember, resilience is not something you're born with. It's something you build through practice. When you consistently apply these habits in calm moments, they start working automatically during difficult times. Your emotions are not your enemy. Your mind is not trying to deceive you. It just needs direction. And when that direction comes into your hands, your life begins to change, slowly but surely. Now let's understand something even more important. Emotional strength isn't built through a single technique. It's built through a system. Just like one medicine isn't enough to keep the body healthy, one method isn't enough to stabilize the mind. First, understand the body. When stress rises, your body reacts first. So learning to calm your body is already half the victory. Deep breathing may seem simple, but its impact is powerful. Breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and exhale slowly for 8. Within a few cycles, you'll notice your heart rate slowing and your mind becoming clearer. This sends a signal to your body that the danger has passed. Now, let's talk about your thoughts. Your mind assigns meaning to every situation, and that meaning determines your response. So learn to question your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really that big of a deal? Will this matter 5 years from now? These questions help you step out of the intensity of the moment. Sometimes we avoid difficult conversations. We think staying silent is easier. But the longer you delay, the heavier it becomes. Unspoken words pile up in your mind and turn into emotional weight. Courage doesn't mean fighting. It means speaking the truth with respect. When you communicate on time, relationships are preserved. When you avoid it, distance grows. Now let's talk about balancing expectation and reality. Difficult times will come in life: illness, financial pressure, relationship struggles. In those moments, it's important to avoid two extremes. On one side, blind optimism. Everything will be fine. I don't need to do anything. On the other side, hopelessness. Nothing can change. The right path lies in the middle. This is difficult, but I will find a way. That balance is what keeps you steady.
You also need to understand this. Not every setback makes you weaker. Many times, that very setback becomes the reason for your strength. Think about it. Where did your greatest lessons come from? From comfortable days or from moments of struggle? Difficulties don't break you if you don't run from them. They reshape you. Now, something important. Support. Many people believe that being strong means handling everything alone, but true strength is knowing when to ask for help. Identify 3 or 4 people in your life with whom you can speak openly. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. Your mind is like a machine. If you train it properly, it can stay balanced even in hard times. But if you leave it untrained, it will shake at every small thing. So starting today, take a small commitment. Give 5 minutes daily to your mind. Focus on your breath. Write down one event from your day and notice how you interpreted it. Speak to yourself with kindness. Accept small discomforts. Slowly, you'll begin to notice a change. Where there were once storms, now there is only a gentle breeze. Where you once reacted instantly, now there is a pause. And that pause is your real power. Because in the end, life is not about becoming free from emotions. Life is about learning to stay balanced with them. And once you master that, no situation can completely shake you. Now understand a deeper truth. The biggest battle in life is not with external situations, but with your internal interpretation. The same event can happen to 2 people, yet their experiences can be completely different. Why? Because it's not the event, it's the meaning we give it that shapes us or breaks us. Let's say your effort fails. One person says, "I'm worthless." Another says, "This method didn't work. I'll try a different one next time."
The difference is not in the event, it's in identity. The first person turns failure into identity. The second turns it into experience. That is mental resilience. We often label ourselves, I'm weak, I'm short-tempered, I'm fearful. But the truth is, you are not your behavior. You are not even your thoughts. You are the one who can observe them. And when you realize this, a distance is created within you, and that distance is your freedom. Now let's break another illusion. We think happiness is the ultimate goal, but chasing happiness directly often backfires. The more you try to grab it, the more it slips away. Happiness isn't found by chasing it. It's a byproduct of meaningful work, deep relationships, and personal growth. If every day you ask yourself, what did I do today that made me a little better? Slowly, a sense of fulfillment begins to grow. It's not flashy excitement, it's a steady balance. And that stability is what creates long-term happiness. Now, one more important factor, energy. People talk about time, but the real game is energy. If you have time but no energy, you won't be able to do anything. That's why taking care of your body is a part of emotional strength. Proper sleep, balanced nutrition, a bit of exercise, these are not small things. They are the foundation of your mental clarity. Have you ever noticed?
When you're tired, even a small thing feels overwhelming. But when you're refreshed, that same thing feels lighter. That's why ignoring your body is the same as weakening your mind. Now let's talk about another trap, comparison. In today's world, one of the biggest mental traps is comparing yourself to others, seeing someone else's achievements and feeling less about yourself. But remember, every person's journey is different. You're comparing someone else's chapter 20 to your chapter 3. That's not fair. Focus on your own progress. Becoming better than you were yesterday is enough. And finally, understand this. Life cannot be fully controlled. Some things are in your hands, your effort, your response, your perspective, but a lot is outside your control. When you accept this, unnecessary stress begins to fade. You can't control the ocean, but you can learn to steer your boat. The purpose of life is not to eliminate emotions, it's to use them wisely. Anger can help you stand up against injustice. Fear can make you more cautious. Sadness can make you more compassionate. Every emotion carries a message. Understand it, but don't become its slave. When you learn to pause, observe, and then choose, you stop being a victim of circumstances. You become the creator of your life. Remember, strength is not found in noise. Strength is found in stillness. And the next time a strong emotion rises, instead of reacting immediately, smile and tell yourself, this too shall pass. Now we come to a final truth, one that can completely change the way you think. Your life is not shaped by big external events. It is shaped by your small, daily responses. A small decision, a small reaction, repeated over time, becomes your identity. Your habits shape your days shape your years, and your years shape your entire life. We often think change will come from a big turning point, a major motivation, a big success, or a huge setback. But the truth is the opposite. Change comes from very small steps. When you choose silence instead of anger, when you keep going despite disappointment, when you stop comparing and focus on yourself, these small choices come together to build a new identity. Think about it. If every time an emotion rises, you just pause for 90 seconds, how many arguments would be avoided? How many relationships would be protected? How many decisions would improve? That pause is what sets you apart. Now start seeing your life as a system. If you want to become stronger, practice a little every day. Practice breathing. Practice questioning your thoughts. Practice handling difficult conversations instead of avoiding them. Practice accepting small discomforts. Slowly, your mind will start creating new pathways. What once used to break you will now feel like a small wave. Criticism that once shook you deeply will now feel like simple feedback. Failure that once stopped you will now guide you forward. Remember, strength doesn't mean you'll never fall. It means that every time you fall, you rise a little wiser. Now ask yourself one question. Am I the master of my emotions or their victim? If the answer is the second, start practicing today. Because your mind is not your enemy. It just needs direction. Life won't always be easy. People won't always be fair. Circumstances won't always be in your favor. But your response will always be in your control. And that is your true power. You don't need special talent. You don't need extraordinary circumstances. You just need awareness and practice. Start with one simple rule today. Pause before reacting. See the facts before creating a story. Try one more time before giving up. Look at your own progress before comparing. Step by step, this will make you emotionally free. And when you become emotionally free, no situation can completely shake you. You can't calm the ocean, but you can strengthen your anchor within. And when your inner anchor is strong, the storm outside becomes just noise. Remember, emotions come and emotions go.